Section 1.5, solving inequalities. Number one, we want to graph the inequality y minus 5 is greater than 2. So we want to solve this just like any other equation, and we're going to add 5. And when we do that, we have y is greater than 7. So on our number line, we want three numbers. We want 7 in the middle. We want integers on both sides. So the integer that's smaller than 7 is 6, greater than it is 8. Right? Since this is a greater than sign and not a greater than or equal to sign, we're going to have an empty circle, and it's pointing to the right. Okay, so we're going to shade it to the right. All right, let's do this next one. So we have 2y minus 3 is less than or equal to 15. So we're going to add 3. Now we have 2y is less than or equal to 18. And we're going to divide by 2. So y is less than or equal to 9. So 9 in the middle, integers on both sides. And in this case, we have a colored in circle. Okay, it's colored in because it has that or equal to sign on the bottom, less than or equal to. So we colored in the circle in the 9. And for this sign, the arrow is pointing to the left. Okay, that trick always works as long as the variable is on this side of the equation. If it looked like this instead, we'd want to flip it around, put the y on the left, put the 9 on the right, have a point the other way. Okay, and then this always makes an arrow pointing which way you're going to shade. All right, number 3 is a tricky one, and it's not because it is a fraction, because fractions are simple. All right, let's walk through it. So minus 1. And we have negative 2/5 x is greater than 2. Okay, now I'm going to put this 2 over 1 because I like to deal with these fractions using cross multiplication. Okay, so when I cross multiply, I'm putting the x up with that negative 2 there, and I have negative 2x is greater than 10. All right, so here's the part that makes this tricky. Okay, I want to get rid of this negative 2, and I'm going to divide by a negative 2. Anytime we divide by a negative 2 in these inequality problems, you have to remember to flip this sign the other way. It was pointing to the right, now it's pointing to the left. X is less than negative 5. Okay, that happens anytime we multiply or divide by a negative number. Okay, so negative 5 is in the middle, integer on the left, that's a negative 6. Since it's smaller, negative 4 on the right. Okay, we want an empty circle, and it's pointing that way. So shade to the left. Okay, if we were to test this and plug in a number, like plug in, for example, negative 6, okay, we'll see that negative 6, when plugged in, this side is going to be greater than 3. All right, number 4, another fraction problem. Let's start off by putting a 1 underneath this. Okay, that's going to allow us to cross multiply. Okay, so negative 4m over 6, negative 24m, less than or equal to, these guys multiplied, 5m plus 58. All right, move everything to one side, or all the m's to one side, I mean. Okay, so those are gone. So now we have negative 29m is less than or equal to 58. The last step, divide. Okay, now keep in mind this is a negative that we're dividing by, which means again we have to switch that sign the other way. M is greater than or equal to negative 2. Okay, colored in circle, shade to the right. Easy stuff. Let's do a word problem. 1/3 of the sum of 5 times a number and 3 is less than 1/4 the sum of 6 times that number and 5. All right, so here is the separator, is less than. Okay, so let's do one side at a time. All right, 1/3 of the sum of 5 times of a number and 3. All right, so we have 1/3 the sum of 5 times a number and 3. All right, so let's start off. So you have 1/3 times that whole sum. So we're going to parentheses 5 times a number, let's say it's x and 3. All right, now we have that is less than. All right, 1/4 the sum of 6 times that number and 5. Okay, so 1/4 sum of, again, parentheses, 6 times that same number, so 6x and 5. All right, now we want to solve this. Okay, so we have a 1/3 and a 1/4. So let's multiply by a number that gets rid of both of those fractions, okay, to simplify it for ourselves, and that way we don't have to deal with a whole bunch of fractions. Okay, so something that goes into both a 3 and a 4, or a common multiple of 3 and 4, in other words, which would be 12. So if we multiply both of these by 12, okay, as long as we multiply both sides, that's allowed. So 12 over 3 is 4. So 4 times 5x plus 3 on this side. Okay, and over here we're going to have 3 times 6x plus 5. Okay, the reason that's allowed is that we're keeping this equation balanced. What we did to the left side, we're also doing to the right side. All right, so now at this point, the fractions are gone. It makes it a lot cleaner for us. Okay, we can distribute all this in. 20x plus 12, it's an x here, is less than 18x plus 15. Okay, solve it out. Minus 18 minus 12. All right, so we have 2x is less than 3, and looks like we're going to get a fraction here. Okay, so we have x is less than 3 over 2. Okay, fraction as an answer, that's okay. That happens sometimes. Whoops. I can't write on the bottom there, but that's a 3 over 2. So 3 over 2, that's 1.5. So an integer to the right of that is going to be 2. Integer to the left of that is going to be 1. All right, and it's a less than sign, which means we want an empty circle, and we want to shade it to the left. All right, the sum of 1/3 a number and 4. So the sum of 1/3 a number. So now this time we're not going to use parentheses because we just have the sum of. So 1/3 a number and 4 is at most. Okay, now this is a different phrase here. So is at most, which means that it's going to be less than or equal to, because it can't be any more than the sum of twice that number and 12. All right, and then again, we can do the same thing we did last time. So we want to get rid of this one fraction. Let's just do times 3 on this side, and same thing over here, times 3. Okay, in this case, we're going to cancel those fractions. Make sure you multiply the 3 times the 4 also. So x plus 12 is less than or equal to 6x plus 36. All right, move everything over. That's gone, that's gone. So negative 24 on this side, less than or equal to 5x. Fractions again. And we have, I always like to switch this the other way. So x is on this side, the number is on this side. I'm going to flip it. Make sure you flip the sign also. X is greater than or equal to negative 24 fifths. Okay, so negative 24 fifths. Got it. And let's see, so that's 4.8. So we would want negative 4 on this side, negative 5 on that side. Okay, those are our integers surrounding that number. Okay, we want to color it in circle since it has that or equal to sign, and it's pointing that way, so we're going to shade to the right.